Alright, group number 2, you're going to scroll all the way to the bottom of your notes today to your dependent events. You guys are going to be responsible for the second part of our learning target. And we're going to be talking about dependent events. So if you think about the word dependent, if you're a dependent person, you need someone or something in order to survive or in order to do something else. So if you're a dependent person, you depend on someone for whatever it is. So we're going to have two different things that are happening today, and the outcomes of our second event happening are going to depend on what happens in the first event, hence the name dependent events. So we're going to come back to this formula, but I think it will make the most sense if we go through this example together. So we have a bag of M&Ms. I'm going to draw this bag, and when you're explaining this to your group members, it might be a good idea to have them do this example with you. So we have our bag, and we have some M&Ms. We have 3 reds. So draw 3 reds. We have some greens, 5 green. And I don't have orange, so I'm going to use yellow. Hopefully that's not too confusing for you. And I want you guys to cross off this first example because I think that's going to confuse us, so we're not going to do that one. We're going to do these 2 scenarios, walk these through with your group mates. Alright, so today with dependent events, we want to know what's the probability of getting a red and then another red, so 2 reds. But the catch is, in our example here, it says you're going to pick out an M&M and you're not going to replace it. Here's our key words that are always going to tell you that it's a dependent event. You're going to take something out and you're not going to put it back. So that's key. Alright, so let's find the probability. So they want to know what's the probability of getting a red and then another red. So 2 reds. So our first reach in, we're going to pull out a red. So what's the probability of getting a red? Well, there's 3 reds out of a total of 9 M&Ms. So this red I'm going to take out. I picked out a red the first time. I'm going to eat it. I'm not putting it back. So what's the probability of reaching back into the bag and now getting a second red if you don't replace it? Well, now there's only 2 reds out of a total of not 9 anymore, there's only 8. So notice how what happened here in the second event is dependent on what happened here. Okay? So red and, if the word is and, that always means to multiply. So I'm going to multiply those 2 things together. So I have 3 times 2 is 6. 9 times 8 is 72, which will simplify to 1 over 12. Alright? Alright, let's put that red back in. So we're going to start fresh with a whole new scenario here. Okay, so all the M&Ms are going to go back. And let's find the probability of reaching in, pulling out a red, and then a green. Okay, without replacing it. So the probability now of reaching in and pulling out a red is going to be 3 out of 9. Now that red, again, I'm going to eat after I pull it out. I'm not going to put it back. So now what's my probability of pulling out a green? Well, there's 5 greens, but there's not 9 M&Ms anymore because I pulled one out. So 5 over 8. Okay, you don't see it here, but it's really saying red and then a green. So we're going to multiply. So we're going to get 15 over 72 again. We can divide by 3 and get 5 over 36. And so that's our probability. Okay, so a little challenging. There's a lot that goes into dependent events. Just go slowly, do some examples with your group mates as you get together. Let me know if you need any help.